So thank you guys for being here on like our New Year's recap of 2025. And you were the first two guests I had on the podcast, so it's kind of a pleasure to have Hugo and Finn back here. And yeah, let's just talk. How are your years?
My year was pretty good. It was kind of crazy. I think the highlight for me and something that really like interrupted my year in the best possible way is my trip to Asia, to Thailand and then India. I feel like that sort of colored my whole year.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, other than that, it was quite good. It was lots of ups and downs. Um, but feel like I learned a lot and I'm grateful for everything that I got to experience.
Yeah. Fair. Hugo, what about yours?
That was a nice year too, pretty intense. I left my job in March, so basically it was a year of discovery and adventures and doing things differently in new places. So yeah, that was a pretty nice year, pretty intense. Can't wait to talk about it with you more deeply.
Yeah, I remember being through those periods, like with Finn and with you, and talking with you guys about it. I obviously left my football coaching job too.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a whole year of like development. I think I'm partly, I'd say, quite majorly inspired by both of you. Like Finn and Hugo. Like Finn was one of the first friends I really met, and it was even 2024 that we started talking, and then like September I started that journey of like changing, and Hugo's been a big part of that also with certain mentality changes. We talked about it on our episode, so I'm really thankful for that. But yeah, let's do it. So we're gonna go into life hacks. You guys brought your life hacks for us, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we can start off with Finn. What's your number one life hack of the year?
It's hard for me to choose one. I guess one that I started doing recently is sort of like protein meal. I don't know how to describe this, but I was watching this guy on YouTube and he was talking about his diet, and he says that the way that he maintains like a healthy diet and his, because the gym is important to me, working out is important to me, is through having one really big meal of protein for lunch every day that's very clean.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've been able to like become much more consistent by having the same breakfast and lunch every day and having a ton of protein and no carbs for lunch, which keeps my energy super high and it keeps me super satisfied throughout the day, so that I don't feel the need to snack or do anything like that. It's kind of a random hack, but it's actually been really helpful, and I noticed a big difference in the gym as well in terms of I don't need to think about anything. I just have the same like super healthy stuff for breakfast and lunch.
Yeah.
And then for dinner, if I want to have like pizza or pasta or whatever I want, I can have whatever I want. And I don't need to feel guilty, or not that I was really beating myself up about it before. But
you eat so good. I would never blame you for eating bad one day.
So it's just like, it's sort of been, it's given me a certain level of freedom in that I know what I'm going to have every day. And I feel really strong and healthy when I do it.
So it's an all protein lunch?
It's all protein.
And
like
what about
I have,
breakfast? Because you're talking about breakfast.
Breakfast, I have my usual like oatmeal with blueberries and like healthy stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's literally all protein, and maybe I'll have like a banana or something like that.
Some fruit in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's fair.
That's my hack.
Awesome, man. So what about you, Hugo?
Good question. You're talking about food, so I'm gonna start with my favorite one, which is like basically cookies that I do with only oat, banana, and chocolate. And this is a life hack because I do love to eat sweet stuff, and in 20 minutes I have those amazingly good and crunchy and yet soft in the middle cookies. So for me, this is a life hack, like getting a sweet treat, pretty healthy in a quick way. And basically it's like 1 banana and a half, you mix it, you add more or less 100 grams of oat, chocolate, you mix everything, you put in the oven for like 10 to 15 minutes, and it's done. You've got like cookies, and it has been a crazy life hacks for me lately. Being at the farm for 3 months, that's something I did a lot. Like when I had free times or when I wanted some like comfort or just to please people at the house, it's like my go-to move. So this is an easy cookie recipe.
Yeah.
That has been a life hack for me. You can add some salt on it. You can add some vanilla if you want to
Yeah.
make it a bit more.
It's interesting that
Sexy.
like I feel like both of our hacks are ways to liberate us from things that we want to do, like eat sweets or eat for me eat pizza and pasta. It's like instead of trying to be super disciplined and just cut everything out, it's interesting that we're finding like creative ways. Sort of reminds me of that book, like little experiments. Like creative little ways to do what you want to do what you love to do what you're passionate about, but in a way that's not efficient but helpful. That it's still like you can still function and do your best with what it is that you like to do. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're not eating a full bag of candies or
Yeah, exactly.
industrial cookies.
But you feel bad about eating pizza and pasta.
It's not that I feel bad, but I just don't like. I can feel within myself that I'm not at my best when I do eat that sort of stuff. Like, my sleep is worse. My performance in the gym is a little bit worse. Like, I get some brain fog. But that's more specific to me because, like, I'm a little bit lactose intolerant and gluten intolerant.
Yeah.
I think for other people it would be more. It would be fine, but I think because I don't know, my body reacts quite intensely to food. I can really like feel if I don't eat clean, I can really feel it. Or like when I drink or smoke or anything like that, I can really feel it. So I think it's more specific to me.
Yeah, since I've been eating healthier too, and like sometimes I do the no carbs that kind of learned from Finn too. Like I noticed that I'm a lot more sensitive to food, and I don't overeat because when I overeat, I just don't feel happy. It's not even like bad food. It's just like eating a little bit more than I felt hungry for. Like I don't have to stuff myself, to feel happy. So that's been pretty good. You want to say anything more? Otherwise, I'll just hop over to mine.
I want to know yours.
Mine, well, I've already said it to you guys. Like, has been around sleep. Like, that's my number one hack, which is like not even building, but just finding like a dark and a quiet environment to sleep in is like the number one thing. You remember when I had the coaching job and stuff, like I was doing different nights, like coming home different times, and then it was, maybe blue light before sleep or whatever. Like I just wasn't getting sleep, like good quality sleep, and I wake up just unhappy, like unenergetic for the next day. And I was like, I can't do this anymore. Especially if you, like we talk about being creative, you want to do things in the morning, you want to start off the right way. I have to sleep well. And I literally cannot sleep in a light environment now. Like when I have visitors or I'm hosting people at the house and I don't sleep in that environment, and I get even like light at certain times of the day. Like in the summer, it's light at 9:30 and I go to bed at 10. So like I need to be winding down and not be looking outside and seeing like the sun. And so yeah, that's my number one hack, I think.
I think you were also talking to me about like not looking at your phone for an hour before bed. What do you do with that time? Do you read or what do you do?
I think you can like fill it with anything you want. Like sometimes I fill it with cleaning up the house. Like, because sometimes if you get home late, like you just dump your backpack and you maybe have to go make dinner. So you go cook dinner, you go down to the shop because I like shopping daily. So go down to the shop, get food, and I cook. And then it's getting later. And it's just a great way to be like, okay, well, I can let go of my phone now. And I can, finish cleaning the kitchen. I can do like face care or any other kind of routines. And then, cleaning up whatever clothes, for example, if I didn't put away my clothes, or very basic tasks that I left around the house, organize the books, and then write my journal. And if I need to read, then like sleep. But it's interesting because those things also make you focus and they also make you tired because you get bored and you're like, okay, like my body is like slowly.
There's something of like you using the last amount of energy that you have for the day by like writing, reading, doing stuff like active.
Yeah.
And you're just like emptying the reserve and then just like fall asleep pretty easily.
I used to be so good about having a nighttime routine. Like I would, because I also didn't want any artificial light, so I'd have a candle and I would journal by candlelight every night and like listen to jazz music and like and recently I've just not been doing it at all because I go out often, like not super late, but I go out often, and because I'm with people and I'm energized, I get home and I don't feel like ready to just like go straight to like a candle and journaling.
Yeah.
And then I look at my phone and then it's like sometimes it becomes late and like, okay, I need to sleep. But then my sleep is never as good as it should be because I remember like when I was just focusing on football and like living sort of like more further outside the city, I was doing this every night, and I was sleeping so well every
Mm.
night, waking up at like 6 every morning, getting
Mhm.
sunlight in the morning.
Yeah.
And so that's something I feel like I can really improve on, is finding a way to get back into my nighttime routine. Although one like little mini hack as well is I bought like nice quality reusable earplugs,
Mm.
and also like a face mask.
Mm-hmm.
And that's made a big difference because I'm very sensitive to sound when I'm sleeping.
Mm.
And
My snoring.
yeah, sometimes.
That was funny.
And having those earplugs has made a huge difference. Because
Yeah.
I like, even if I don't think that something's gonna happen, just having them in and knowing that nothing, like even if there's sound, I won't hear it. It gives me a certain like strange sense of like security and comfort
Mm-hmm.
of like, oh, okay, like I'm just in my zone where like it's dark, it's quiet, like I'll be fine
Yeah.
anywhere.
Yeah. I feel like it was one of the payoffs you get for socializing more. I think about it too, like, you know, like, okay, the sleep routine is great, but like going to bed at 10, it's not particularly social.
Yeah.
You're going to want to do things in your life, want to go out and meet people,
Mm-hmm.
meet girls too. So like, you know, it's kind of like a sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you know your stuff, so it's not like, oh, Finn's not doing it because
Yeah,
it's like,
but
you got
I think
other
I could
things.
do way better. Like I think I need to find a way to balance both things.
Mm.
Is there not a way to find a hack and a habit to still like go out, see people, socialize, and having this transition phase that allow you to
I was thinking
Like,
for
really
yeah, I was
enter
thinking for a while
yours?
to try and do some sort of breath work to
Mm.
like transition from being out, being social, being energized to being relaxed and calm. But it's hard for me to like come home and be like, all right, now I'm gonna do breath work for 15 minutes, and then I'm gonna chill. Like, I think
Yeah.
maybe like reading is helpful
Mm.
and stuff like that.
What I do, and it sometimes helped me, not always, but like there is something of like a moment when I was brushing my teeth. I was like literally without music, without phone and focus on it to like do the all around and then run back and around.
Like
And like the fact of
mindfully.
being like super conscious of brushing each teeth in this way and
Mhm.
it was like the perfect transitioning to go to a more calm
Mm.
period. And
Mm.
maybe not sleeping straight, but I was coming back from night out, brushing my teeth, and then okay, I could write or read, and then falling asleep, like
Mhm.
again in a more natural way, and not being
Mm.
too excited. And
Yeah.
just brushing my teeth came to be like a very
That's a good
important
idea.
moment to recenter and
Yeah.
disconnect a bit from all the
That's a good idea,
excitation from going out and seeing friends and
Yeah.
whatever.
That's
That
true.
reminds me of this book that I read called Tiny Habits.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy is like a Stanford neuroscientist, and he talks about how like he has a formula for creating habits where you need like a prompt. So you
Mm.
need something in your environment that you see or that you know that like, okay, when I see this at this time, I do this. So like for example, when you come home,
Atomic Habits talks about that too.
yeah.
Putting the pieces in place so that it activates it.
Exactly, because you need something in your brain to remind you, like, oh, this is what I do now. Like for me, for example, like for me, my morning routine is quite easy. Like I have that locked in. Like I wake up, brush my teeth, drink water, get sunlight, and I do like some breath work.
Mm.
And then if I'm feeling motivated and good, I do like meditation and yoga.
Mm.
But it's like already locked in. Like I know exactly. My brain knows like, oh, this is how I do it. This is where I go. And I don't need to think about it anymore.
Mm.
And I think it's really interesting, like we were talking about before, like creatively designing your environment in order to stimulate and help yourself remember certain habits that you're trying to build.
Yeah. Fair.
So yeah.
All right. Give us your second hack.
My second hack.
Or do you have more? I don't know how many you guys have, so we're just
I
gonna go
have
around.
more, but I'm just thinking about. I think the earplugs one was definitely one. I have another hack, but that's sort of related to what I was just talking about. But
Mm.
just designing my day in an intelligent, creative way to, for example, I'm trying to study Portuguese and learn the piano.
Mm.
And so finding like times in my day that are the best to do that. And so for me, like whenever I start work, I always journal
Mm.
And then like I have a like a daily checklist in Notion that I create every day, and also Notion might have to be my hack. Notion, like starting using Notion has completely changed the game for me, like in terms of organizing my thoughts and organizing my day. So for example, every day I have a checklist. It's like new day, and it's journal, make time. Make time is this like thing that I found from a YouTube video from this guy, where you every day you write like what your goal is, what you're grateful for, and like something that a negative event or aspect of your life, and you like reframe it in a creative way to be positive. So you could say like, oh, I didn't sleep well last night, so this is a good way for me to reset. Or it's also like a way to let go of something. So if there's something negative that's holding you back, or it's weighing heavily on your mind, you can every day you write like, I'm grateful for this, I'm letting go of this, and this is my goal for the day.
Right.
And so I've found a way to like do this checklist where I'm always journaling every day. I'm always doing this little make time thing. And I started studying Portuguese before starting work as well, just for 15 minutes. Because I find if I start work or if I start doing other things, I'm going to forget to do it. And so I need to have like specific times where if I have certain habits that I really want to get done every day, I program them in so that before I start work, I already have it scheduled in so that I don't forget it, because it's so easy for me to forget things. Or like with studying piano, I always do it after lunch, because it's another like cue to be like, okay, after lunch I have time like where I'm digesting. I don't need to get right back into work. I can spare 20 minutes, and during that time like I can play the piano. And so I would say using Notion and thinking about habits in this way has really changed the game for me, because I think before I was very strict with myself in an unproductive way. Like I would be like, okay, I need to study the piano. If I wanted to learn the piano, I'd be like, okay, I need to study an hour every day. Because that's just, I mean, if you want to learn, you need to study. But by demanding so much of myself and not programming it in an intelligent way, at the end of the day, I would beat myself up, because I'd be like, oh, I did some other things and I didn't end up studying the piano. But I never did it. I never helped myself to do it. I never said, oh, this is when I'm going to do it. And I think it's also like to be flexible in a way that before I was like, okay, I'll study piano after my work, like at 5 p.m. when I finish class or I finish work. And I was like, it's not really working. I'm messing it up. And before, I think I would blame myself to be like, I'm not disciplined enough. Whereas now it's like, okay, how can I position this habit in a way that's creative, and maybe it's not my fault. Like I think that also that I don't want to talk too much, but
no, you're good.
Like the idea that procrastination, or the reason you're not getting something done, is not always your fault. I mean, it is, but sometimes it's a signal. It's not like a bug. Like it's a feature. It's not a bug. So it's not your fault. It's just like your body or your mind or something is telling you that this isn't the right way to do it. You need to find another way to do it. It's not necessarily a lack of motivation or a lack of willpower.
I can definitely hear about this book, Tiny Experiments.
Yeah.
That I recommend, like, anyone being curious and wanted to live a better life. But yeah, talking about this procrastination stuff and the approach of like being, okay, this is not yes or no. This is more like growth loop to understand how do I work, how my body is working, how my brain is working too, and like trying to find ways to work with them instead of working against, believing that I need to get this done in 2 hours and I need to do this and that. Like this is very strict and tough. I'm not sure it works this way. The human body doesn't work like this. At least not on long term. And yeah, you gotta figure it out like a puzzle.
Yeah, exactly.
With your days and like what are the good moments in the day to do this or that. And
I think that's
almost
a
this
great
book
point.
is a hack.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. The like distinction between learning about yourself, like you're using all these things, you're trying all this stuff to learn about yourself and what works for you, because what works for you isn't going to work for someone else.
Yeah, that's true. So Hugo, now that you're speaking, tell us your second life hack.
Yeah. So I can definitely like connect with Notion because I did it. It was a few years ago now, and my year was it was a bit funny because it was going the other way, meaning I left my job and I kind of quitted some kind of routine and habits that I had. It was a way more chaotic year, and among all of this chaos, I still had to find some ways to feel comfortable at some point and still have like some habits here and there to feel good, because I mean that's pretty important points. And one that came out is just like regularly being moving, like whether it's walking, stretching, whatever, but regularly when I'm doing stuff. And probably at some point we'll have a time out to go like stretch and walk around the apartment, like not to stay without moving too long. Like, I don't know where it comes from exactly. I know I have a friend who wrote a book about it with another co-writer, and it has like terrific impact on our health to like be standing still or sitting still for hours. Even if we go to the gym like five times a week, like it doesn't repair the fact that you stayed like 8 hours without moving before. We need to have this regular movement during our day. So I try to have this whatever things that I'm doing, like being seated, okay, I'm gonna go for a round in the apartment, maybe during my call going for a walk, or like stretching, or I don't know, like just being moving. And this, I'm still learning, like I'm definitely not good at it. There are some days I spend like the entire day writing and reading stuff on the computer and I'm not moving, but I can feel it the moment I like stand up. I can feel my body needs like to stretch in almost every direction that are possible. And when I do it, I feel way more fresh and even ideas, and like disconnect from what you're doing. Just 5 minutes and then you come back with like a fresh mind. Yeah, that's too good. That's too good. Like we shall do it more. Just 5 minutes, go for a walk, even in the same room, it doesn't matter that much. Ideal is going out in nature, and like this is like next level movement, but just be moving changes so much.
Damn, I think you nailed that actually. That's also a great hack for creativity. One of the funniest things I actually do really want to try is do, if I do work from home, getting one of those walking, what are they called?
Standing desks or no?
No, you work at a standing desk, you have the walking treadmill.
Ah, really?
Because I think like when I go for walks,
well, yeah, there's so many like
I could write a whole newsletter in 5 minutes if I'm walking. Like I wish there was a device that recorded my thoughts. And so the thing is, like, of course it's not completely possible to type while walking, but
it is, to be honest.
But sometimes like this is another life hack that I haven't been doing much recently, but there was a couple months where I was doing every day like voice memos while walking. Just like random thoughts while walking, and that was really helpful.
But then you have to go back and listen to them. And
sometimes I never listened to them again. It was just to like stimulate my brain. Or sometimes I would do it in Portuguese to practice Portuguese or something like that. But I know what you're saying. Like there's so many great minds and great writers that have said. I think there was one guy that said like every good thought I've ever had was while walking. Like he didn't.
And you run back to write it down.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's my, like for my newsletter, I guess this is part of my strategies, like going for a walk regularly, like without music, without anything, just going out and see what are the ideas that are gonna cross and mix up together, and then I'm like, I got something, and that's the one I'm gonna write, like the base of next episode or something.
Yeah, not always being plugged in is also really important.
I struggle with that because I love music so much, and it brings me so much inspiration and energy that I struggle to walk without music.
But I think it's one of those things, and it's interesting that he talked about like the flexibility and movement, which is I feel like we don't realize how important it is, which is why it's interesting that when we try something and then we go back to our normal, we see the actual difference. It's like, I'm sure now, if you did 7 days where you sat like at an office or whatever, you would die. And you would realize like, oh, I see the importance of movement. And it's very easy when you don't do it, or even me to sit here and be like, oh yeah, that's important. Man, if I did that for 7 days even, I'd probably then realize like, wow, this is like so important.
Yeah, that's
true.
It's like water. When you drink a lot of water, all of a sudden when you stop drinking water, you're like, my body needs it. What, drinking water?
Yeah, like regular water. But what I wanted to say is like this moving, I've done it before realizing that it was a life hack, because when I was like working, I spent a lot of time like on Zoom meeting. And I didn't care much. I was working in the offices. Like I couldn't stay still. I was always like walking around and like talking and I don't know. And I realized later that this habit was actually super good because at some point I lost it. I wasn't doing it. I was working more from home. And I was less working in my place. So I was doing it. I lost it. Then I realized it was amazing. And now bringing it back to my everyday life routines, whatever, trying to get it back. But I had it like naturally, maybe couldn't stay still, like needing movement.
It's amazing.
What about you? What's the next one?
It's interesting. You guys talked about Notion. Like I also tried Notion. I don't know if it had the same results for me. So I did a little bit of a different thing, which is I was tired of so many to-do lists and like structure. I tried to structurize everything. It was like 11 p.m. this, 12 p.m. this, 1 and I just got so tired of it. So what I've been doing, and it's a little bit looser now, is doing no clocks, which sounds crazy, but I don't want to always be looking at the time. I realize it gives me like some kind of, it takes me out of the moment. So it takes me out of the creative space. It takes me out of the flow space. Like you're just like thinking, oh, it's 11 or, oh, it's 12. I need to like cook or I need to be here at this time. And for me, that was a big one. I'm not sure this is useful to everybody, but for me, I tried to like schedule everything hour by hour. And I was like, that doesn't work. It just makes me stressed. And if I get delayed, I just get upset at myself. So now I try to do even in the morning. I literally have pre-programmed alarms for like 12:01 p.m. So like, unless I have something to do in the morning, I just work till 12:01 p.m. And I don't have to worry about it. I put all my apps on full screen on my Mac so I don't see the clock. And I just work. And that way I can just be focused and be like, look, it's out of my control. And time moves slower sometimes when we're not like thinking about it. No, that's not true. It's opposite. But sometimes it moves slower. It depends. But yeah, and then I know that like, okay, I'm not worried about being somewhere at a certain time. I have the alarm. Like when that rings, I can stop and go do my other things. I don't need to be thinking, because I would be thinking so many things. I'd be like, I'm working, but I need to do this by at 12:30. I'm like, bro, it's not even 12 yet. Why are you thinking about that? So it's a bit weird. It's like I don't want to have my life like constantly regulated by like timestamps. And I think we're lucky, or at least I'm lucky to now like trying to be an entrepreneur. Like I don't have to like clock in or clock out, and that gives me so much freedom mentally and like in my life. But yeah.
I think that's something I could incorporate, because I'm always like changing the music on my phone or something. I'm looking at my phone, so then I see the time, and it does really make a big difference. Like I don't think people realize how much of a difference it makes, because I could feel it like that. I'll start thinking like, oh, someone texted me back, I need to do this at this time, something, and it really interrupts the flow of your work.
Yeah.
I think it provides a certain sense of freedom to know that like, I'm just going to wake up and do what I'm supposed to be doing and not think about anything else until I know that alarm is going to go off, and then I'm done for whatever I have lunch or whatever I'm doing.
Yeah. Another one, Finn. Give us another one. You have another one?
Another life hack?
I mean, if you have it. Otherwise, we can move on, because we're also taking a long time on this section and we need to kind of go. But I want to give Hugo, I know he wrote a couple more life hacks. So I wanted to give at least Hugo one more time.
I think I've already spoken enough, so I'll pass it. I'll pass it to Hugo.
All right, Hugo. Let's go.
There's one. It's not from this year, but it's kind of something that I try to keep with me pretty regularly. It's something about how our nerves are working and how can we go from being stressed or like okay to be like very relaxed. And there's a thing of like doing just like like if like you're running to get the bus, you got the bus and like if you do this like 3 times, you kind of send signals to your nerve. I don't know how you call it in English, but let's
nervous
skip the word.
system.
Yeah, but the specific one, the parasympathical. You call
parasympathetic.
This one, and like you can like doing this, you kind of like triggering him. And you feel like super relaxed. And that's something I do when I arrive to meet some people or to go to an event or whatever. When I'm joining people, I try to do it always, because whatever I'm doing before, like listening to music, working, thinking about millions of stuff that I should have done today before meeting those people. And like just doing this, I guess every time I'm thinking about it and I do it, I have a better moment than when I don't do it. Just like triggering how your body works. Basically, it's just like using your body, and it's biased to your advantage.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would recommend this like for anything, like something professional, personal, whatever. That's a go-to move, like to have good time with your friends and the people you meet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So yeah, this one.
such a good one.
Like Andrew Huberman did a whole episode about this. It's called like the physiological sigh.
Okay.
So where you do like a like a really deep breath out, and like there's been studies on it and everything that show that it makes a big difference in activating your parasympathetic nervous system and like helping you relax.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting you talk about that because I don't know, I never think to like when I'm going to meet friends or whatever I'm doing, I never think to like relax. But it's a great point, like really you should be relaxed when you're with friends. I think when I'm with other people, when I'm doing things, I tend to want to be more energetic. But there is something to be said for like being relaxed and just being present in the moment and letting go of what was going on before and just trying to be as present as possible.
It is very useful to also when you have friends being late to keep your calm.
I was ready to film at 11. I was ready to film at 11.
Not today.
We are in the courtesy of your house. So.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
So that was my
Alright.
last life hack.
Great, awesome. All right, so let's go into changes in mentality. You want to start, Finn? What you got for us?
Sure. I didn't write that much about this, but I would say sort of related to what we were talking about earlier, but being less strict with myself or less binary in my thinking. And what I mean when I say that is just to be more accepting of myself so that I can change it and move forward and do what it is that I want to do. I think there's a quote by, I don't know if it was James Baldwin or someone like that said like the paradox of change is that you can only change yourself when you accept yourself for exactly how you are. And I find that to be really true, which is like when I try to fight against myself, or I believe that something that I'm doing or some way that I am is wrong, it creates a certain level of friction which inhibits growth and inhibits change. And so by accepting myself more, I've actually been able to make bigger changes in myself and in my life. And so I think that's been one of the main changes in mentality that I've had this year, is being less binary and less strict with myself in terms of what it is that I'm doing and how it is that I think about my life. So I would say that's probably the biggest change for me.
How is it going, the change? Do you feel like you arrived, or it's still an ongoing
I think I went
process?
like I sort of flipped the switch, and now I need to like go back to the middle. Whereas like before I was super strict, now I'm super free, and I need to find like the middle ground of being knowing when it is that I need to be strict with myself, and knowing when it is that I need to be more relaxed. I think this year has really been a year of exploring. Sort of like for you as well, which is like allowing yourself to be completely free and do whatever you want is amazing because you learn a lot, but you're also just like sort of floating in space, you don't really have things to hold on to. And so I think I've been using this year to sort of be super free and experiment and try different things. And through that, I find what is really important to me to hold on to so that I can have a balanced life. And do what it is that's really important to me.
Hugo, what about you?
What I said, this year was big transition and changes for me. I would say the main part, at least the base of it is like I was working in a company since 5 years, like mentoring mentors. It was a lot about being good, like performing, and about transmission. Like I was more sharing than learning new stuff, even though I still had some stuff to learn. My job was to share and to help people feeling okay in what they were doing. And by leaving this, I had to leave this like performance and transmission to go back to curiosity and learning. as a major value of my year. So it was probably the biggest change, and obviously not easy to let go of performing and knowing what you do and like being in control to go back to being a beginner and starting from scratch, and that was probably the biggest mood. I can't say I was 100% successful and I let go of everything and I was really like a kid learning anything that had to be learned. But it was the probably the major point that I had in mind, like trying to get back with this childish mentality and be like, okay, what's that? I want to know. Like spend 3 months in a farm, living with 4 people. I didn't know anything about living in a community like this and painting walls and planting beetroot and taking care of ducks and chicken. I had zero idea of what to do with this.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was probably the biggest switch of this year. Like, how do I look at things and what do I do with my time? That was the main.
Yeah, the curiosity being linked to like the childness in you.
Yeah, definitely.
What happens is we kind of go through childhood and we're curious and we're kind of conditioned to not be curious.
Yeah,
Which
or
was
just to
different
be,
your
to be
performance.
afraid of missing or stuff like this.
Yeah.
I guess when you're a kid, you don't even like realize that maybe it's gonna be bad if you don't. You're just like, okay, what is this? Tell me more. What can I do with this stuff? Try to have this a bit more.
Yeah. Sure.
What about you? What's your
Um,
Jason?
losing like the toxic productivity mindset, I think goes into the thing with time and also like being super critical of myself. So, I mean, I don't know if I need to add too much more to what you were saying, but also like not bashing myself for things that I wanted to do and being like, oh, that's interesting. Because like, it was like I was chasing some other self, like this ideal, we talked about like potential, like high potential self. And I was like, okay, that's great. That's awesome. But you know, like if you like to do something that isn't productive, like maybe that's just okay. And, you know, you could go into the ideas of the shadow, for example, and making peace between your darker and lighter sides, you know, like the things that maybe aren't so good or a little bit darker sides of you. And being like, okay, that's part of me. And when you do that, then you can change and be like, okay, realizing I want to do that. How do I put that into my life? And that's pretty much keeping it short. I think we all get the idea of toxic mentality and stuff. So yeah. Finn, what about you? You got another one or?
Another change in mentality?
If not, we can move on. Also, I have one more. I don't know if Hugo has one more.
That was the only one I wrote down.
Okay, Hugo.
This shadow thing that you're talking about, this like basically because you read the book too.
Yeah, I read the book. Finn
I
gave
guess
it to
we
me.
both
Yeah.
We all read it.
Pass it on.
It's a good book.
It is a
It
very
is.
good book.
And basically, like there is this concept of when you grow up, you're gonna build your ego and your shadow. So ego is everything you think is good. Shadow is everything you think is bad. And depending where you grow and with who and you have different.
And it's not just you that's building it. Like the society's conditioning you.
Exactly, but anyone's doing his choice like according to
Your
his environment.
Yeah,
so we don't have all the same and the same way to deal with our shadow neither. Like you kind of build this, but if you don't give any space to your shadow, there is a moment it will just explode. Like because I don't know, you get super mad, you don't control yourself anymore, or just you're gonna see people not hiding the same stuff as you, and you're gonna be mad at them because they're like, I'm doing like crazy effort to stay a bit calm and give space to everyone and not trying to win every game. And there is this like guy arriving and like talking for 80% of the time at dinner, or like smashing everyone and being super competitive all the time. Like if I'm doing the effort, why is he not doing? And there is this like you can get like tense because of this, but there is like that's nonsense like to be that tense. But you better like find ways to give your shadow some kind of light, a reasonable one. Like you have the opportunity to give a short place that allows you to still be like the kind guy you want to be without exploding at any moment or being mad at someone. And I guess this was like a big switch because I was hiding a lot of stuff. Maybe it's not time to dive in this, but I was hiding a lot of stuff and just like being like, okay, this is still part of me. What space do I want to give it?
Mm-hmm.
So you're saying you give it more space now? Like you show that more?
Like no, I chose to like build some space, like to give them a time, a space to express themselves. Those like, I don't know. For years I didn't buy that many like clothes or stuff because I was like, first of all, that's nonsense. I have everything I need. Secondly, I mean, this has like crazy impact, like social, environmental, and I don't need it, so I'm not gonna buy anything.
Mm-hmm.
But in the end, obviously, I still have this desire to wear like some nice stuff, to feel stylish and like to buy new and wear stuff that people don't have. Like I do have this little trigger like this, but I was always like shutting it down. And this year I was like, okay, what can I do to open a door for them? And that's the moment when then I started to like have a football jersey collection.
Yeah.
Which is like very specific and only vintage, so it's second hand and like just creating a space.
It's interesting because like the concept in the book that you're talking about is like you have this sort of ritual, and it's interesting because you're giving more space to it, but through this process your shadow actually comes out less, or it comes out in the right moments. Whereas like it's not coming out when you're with your friends or when you're doing or maybe if you want it to, but like it's an intentional choice. Like for me, I always think about like the gym or sports as like my way to get out like my competitiveness and like that, I don't know, that energy. Whereas like if I can feel that if I don't do that, then I, like you're saying, I start to get tense when I'm with other people or something like that. And when your shadow does explode with other people, it's a sign that like you're not taking care of yourself psychologically and mentally, to the point where if that's happening, then you need to take care of it.
Sorry, cut you off there.
Me?
Yeah.
No, I had finished talking. It was just I just find that book so fascinating. Like I find all that psychological stuff super interesting, and accepting your shadow and sort of what I was talking about before. Like when you accept like the idea that, oh, I do want to look good, I do want to like be stylish. Like I have the same thing where like I like to look good, I like to feel good about myself, and it's okay. I think when you try and be perfect and you're like, no, I can be like, I don't need clothes, you know, I don't need clothes, I don't need new clothes, I don't need to do these things that other people are doing, like I'm above them, because I think about myself and I'm a creative guy and all this sort of stuff. But it's like, no, it's okay. Like we all have those things. And it's by accepting them, then you can find ways to work with them. So like your football collection is such a, if you think about it, it's such a smart, like that's so you know, that's really like, it's such a you thing, and it makes you who you are, and it's it adds to your life, it doesn't take away.
Yeah.
And so I think that's a really good example.
I have a question about that. I wanted to hear what both of you had to say about it, because I've been thinking about it recently. I mean, we're, like, I don't want to go down like a whole rabbit hole because it's probably a whole topic we could talk about, which is change versus embracing certain things about your identity. So I'm going to explain a little bit more because maybe you're like, what the fuck? The point being, like, on this like self-improvement journey, you know, we can like probably find infinite amount of things to improve. Like, okay, I could do better on my anger management and this and that and everything. Like, oh yeah, I shouldn't care about my clothes, I shouldn't care about my car and physical objects, and a million other topics that we could be like, well, I need to change to be better. And interesting enough, like some people don't do that, and you're kind of like, oh, but you know, they seem perfectly fine, or they have certain things that you want, and you're like what? Then why am I doing all this self-improvement? So I was like curious, like, at what point do you say, well, like I want to get better, but like I also want to be me, and maybe being me is important to other people. Like maybe Finn wants to hang out with me, I don't know, because I'm this way, and like I could change to be some idealistic standard or whatever, but I want Finn to be like, yo, I know Jason's interested in this or not interested in this, and Hugo's like, oh, let's, you know, call Jason for this and maybe not for that, but have that unique identity, even if some parts of it are negative. Like, okay, Jason's a bit competitive, let's not invite him to this game because we just want it to be chill, or, you know, another reason. I don't want to talk too much, I don't know if you guys got the idea there, but like where do we find a peace? Because like I always want to get better, but it's also like related to, I think, like maybe there's some things that I like that I don't want to, like, maybe I don't need to change.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just really briefly, I wanted to hear what you guys say about that in particular.
I think it's a very interesting topic, and I totally get where you're coming from, and I've certainly been there myself of like not being able to find peace within myself. But I think I think through my exploration into spiritual stuff, I've sort of come to the realization that there's a core self that is not going to change. Like, you can do all the self-improvement you want, but your core soul or like your consciousness, it's not going to change. Like, you can become better at cooking or better at whatever you want, but the essence of your being is never going to change. It's always going to be there. And I think that's a very reassuring thought and feeling for me, whereas like when I do meditate or I do certain activities, I can just feel like, oh, this is me. I feel the certain presence of myself. And I think resting in your being and resting in that sense of self, you gain a more long-term perspective in that you see, like, regardless of what changes my ego goes through, I'm always going to have this sense of being and this sense of self, and coming back to that is really the base, the foundation for me in what it is that I'm doing, where I don't feel as much pressure as I did before to be working on myself 24/7, because I know that as much as I will change, and I do like to work on myself, I do like to do things, I'm always going to come back to just being me and resting in that and being okay with that. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, it's beautiful. Here you go.
I was thinking about two things when you were talking. Like, first of all, there's something, I guess, depending on where we are, with whom, in what context, we're not necessarily going to be the same. So I think we do have like several
facades
of our personality, and depending with who we are and where we are, we're probably going to express differently. So we do have this various mask or role or whatever that we can use in social condition, and I mean, it's part of it, and it's tough to blame ourselves to try to be the best in every situation that we can imagine. But then going back to what do I want to get better at, or what is okay, or how do I choose? No. I guess there is a point that we talked about in our episodes, like do you have a philosophy of life? Like, do you have like one main objective that is above everything and that allows you to choose? Because you're not able to work on everything at the same time. Like, you can make choices, not possible. And what's the reference, what's the scale that you have to make those choices? Like, do you do it just instinctively, like every day, depending on your mood, you're switching, or do you have some kind of consistency because you have values and some kind of keys to make those decisions? And I guess this is my way of dealing with it. Like, try to having a happy life, being useful, spending good time with friends, being curious. And I guess those are values that help me decide on what I'm working and what I let go, because you have to make choice. There was this quote, what was it? It's wild to see baby struggling with challenges, like you have to take your hands out of your mouth if you want to do something else with your hands. And adults struggling with kind of the same situation, just a bit more sophisticated.
I've heard that quote before, but I forget how it goes.
It's tiny experiments.
Oh, okay.
And so yeah, like, this is about it. Like, okay, just choose one. And it's not because you choose one and eliminate the others that you're gonna be below zero. It's just gonna go one step further. And I guess that's why I try to deal with this. Main objective, and then accept that step by step. And maybe I'm gonna fall sometime and go back to the beginning and start again. Fair enough. That's how it works.
Okay, thank you.
What do you think about this?
No, it was generally just a question. yeah, I'm just like, I think it's okay, but I'm like just trying to figure out like, okay, how much do I change? You know, like how many things am I supposed to focus on? Like, yeah, I could like do piano and then guitar and like infinite amount of things that like can make you a more round person. It's like sometimes like I guess it comes back to just like feeling enough. Like, okay, like maybe I'm just okay being me, and yeah. So I don't have too much to say. It was more like a genuine question to both of you.
Okay.
I'll just say really quick my what was it? Mentality change.
Yeah.
Switching I think a little bit from like a scarcity mindset to an abundant mindset, in the sense that like before I think I was looking ways to like save time, or like it was always like subtract instead of add. It was like, you know, how can I save? I can like cut out food from my diet, or like to be fitter, or to eat healthier. It was always like subtraction, 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 and like, oh, how, what can I take out to be more productive? Like everything involved with that, and trying to embrace more like this idea of like, look, there's abundance in the world, and you know, let's embrace it, and like let's go eat good food, and let's eat healthy, and that doesn't have to be a bad thing, and it doesn't require me subtracting anything. Maybe it's just eating better food and not worrying so much about like how much I'm spending or things like that, basic things. And also with like the shadow, like embracing some of it and being like, look, it's okay, like I have time, I can like do this. I'm not gonna die if one night, you know, I decide to watch a bit more of a series or do some gaming or whatever. So yeah, just wanted to touch upon that briefly before we moved on. Let's do life lessons.
Okay.
Vamos.
Unless it felt like you wanted to say something.
No, I was thinking about something else.
All right.
But,
Okay.
I mean,
life-
related to the podcast, but a different topic.
You want to share?
No. Well, like, the time will come. The time will come.
Okay. Let's do life lessons then. Starting with Finn.
I feel like I've sort of touched on the main life lessons that I've learned this year. I guess what I was thinking about just now is more of a practical thing in terms of like, I don't know if this is something we're going to touch on in the future, so tell me if it is, but like something that I've changed, that I've made a change that has made a huge difference in my life throughout this year. I don't know if this is a good time to...
It's perfect. Do it.
Well, like I've struggled a lot with like technological addictions in terms of like YouTube, mainly YouTube. Like I deleted social media a long time ago, but before that I struggled with social media, and then I was struggling with YouTube and gaming and stuff like that because it was a big part of who I was in the past. Like I still love gaming, but I really used to be full on, you know. It was a big part of my childhood, and I'm grateful for that. I think I learned a lot, and I wouldn't change it for the world. But recently I've just made the decision to like cut out YouTube and cut out gaming and social media completely. And it's made a huge difference because now I feel relaxed. Like even when I'm not productive, I still feel good about myself because I know I'm not wasting time. And I have this big problem with wasting time. It's been like my biggest source of, I think it's my greatest strength and my greatest weakness, in that like it helps me because I'm always pushing to do more and to learn and always explore new things. But at the same time, before, it was really like a devil on my shoulder, in that I was always feeling like I wasn't enough, I wasn't doing enough.
I shared that with you.
Yeah, and by cutting out like YouTube and gaming, I never really feel like I'm wasting time because I still watch movies, I still watch series, and I still look at like sports news. Like I still have little distractions, you know, like I still watch sports games and do stuff like that. But I think by removing myself from like algorithms where I can really just like switch my brain off and go on my phone for like 3 hours and watch YouTube, by removing that option, it's forced me to be more present and deal with my life more. Like I have to deal with my problems, because if I get really stressed out, before I would like go on YouTube or something like that to make myself feel better. It was a way of like self-soothing and calming myself. But by cutting that out, I am way more consistent with what it is that I'm doing, especially like exercise. Before I was still going to the gym like 3 times a week, but now I'm exercising like every single day, like 6 days a week. Like if I'm going to the gym. I'm not playing football. I'm like trying to go swimming, or I'm going to a yoga class, or I'm dancing or something like that. And so by removing distraction, you get more bored. I get more bored, but then I fill it with interesting stuff, because I think by using this year, especially to explore more things, I found so many different things that I'm interested in, like salsa dancing, or books, or writing, or movies, or art, or something like that. Whereas, when by removing that option, like it's like, okay, I don't have anything to do tonight. Maybe I'll, like before I would just chill at home and watch some YouTube videos and maybe go to sleep. It's like now it's like, no, let me go to some DJ event, or let me go to like an art gallery, or let me explore, let me decorate my house. It's like all these little things that really provide a lot of meaning to my life that before I was missing out on because I was doing something that I didn't really value that much.
Created space for that, I think.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
Big change.
I think,
Like, how do you deal about life without social media and those kind of connection? Because nowadays it's like pretty central in our social life, like connection, meeting people, you exchange Instagram, even like the dating world is a lot online.
Yeah.
How do you deal with this? What are your hacks and stuff for those who would be like afraid of living and losing contact with
For sure.
other humans?
Dating, I'll say that I haven't figured it out yet.
Okay.
But socially, I don't know. I guess I just adapted to it. Like I use WhatsApp, and I think I make it. It's interesting because it also forces you to make an effort socially. Whereas like you don't see events, so you really have to text your friends. Like if you want to see them, you got to text their phone and call them.
Yeah.
Which I think actually makes it's a nicer connection. Like it really makes you make more of an effort to see the people that you want to see, and to reach out to new people. Like sometimes I'm like, oh, I don't have any plans tonight, and all my friends are busy. Maybe I'll reach out to someone I haven't talked to in a while, and try and make plans with them.
Yeah.
And so it sort of forces you to, or maybe I need to go meet new people, so I'll go to an event or something like that. I think it's similar to like giving up YouTube and stuff, that it forces you to make an effort, and it forces you to put yourself out of your comfort zone, which is helpful. I mean, it does suck because you lose certain connections, like more casual connections, you lose, but at the same time, I think you strengthen other bonds, and you get to see like who is really, really important to you, who do you really want to see every week or every month. So I guess I would say that's how I deal with it.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hugo, what you got?
Life lessons. A lot of life lessons this year. One would be that since being a kid, I've always been like hanging out with different groups of friends. I was always amazed by like every group, every collective, like the atmosphere, the values. I've been always like here and there a lot. I don't know exactly where it came from, and we're not gonna go a full session of me today. But I guess this year one thing that I realized is like we're not made for every tribe. Like we can have good connection with some groups and appreciate what they're doing, but we're definitely not done to belong to any tribe. We have like probably some specific characteristic or values or connection or interest in common to share. And this was a big learning for me, that I don't have to have this feeling of belonging every time that I meet a group or that I spend time with a group. I don't have to fully connect with them and can just be here for a while, enjoying some part of it and then moving out. And I guess this was a big learning during the year. Also, probably learning that is doable when you kind of realize who is your tribe. But yeah, this was big relief of, okay, fair enough, I can spend time with them without belonging to this collective and feeling that's my role. Just, okay, be there, have human connection, go for a walk, do sports, whatever that you are doing with this group. And fair enough, doesn't have to be all perfect, all family stuff.
I think that's interesting because I think that's something that's happened to me as well. Is I feel a certain, I don't know if you feel this way, but like through that realization, I feel a certain confidence where I don't feel like I have to, like if I'm in a group and things aren't clicking, maybe it's not my fault. Maybe this just isn't my tribe, like you're saying. Whereas before I was like, I wanted to fit in with every group because, I don't know, because that's normal, I think.
You gotta be accepted.
And because I also hadn't found my tribe or my people, my really good friends. Whereas like once you do find certain people and you feel comfortable, then you realize in others like situations you feel more comfortable because you're not trying to force social connection. You're just like, oh, if it comes, like I'm just gonna be myself, and if it comes, then amazing, and if it doesn't, then it's okay.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm gonna cheat and give the second one because it's very connected to this. Like the fact that talking more deeply with my friends about whatever topics, crazy thoughts you have in mind, or family stuff, or feelings, love, romance, sadness, whatever. Like the fact of taking the time to talk about it more deeply with this tribe, like my tribe, my good friends, it does participate in this like feeling okay and confident and not being like, okay, I've got to be accepted here and there and I got to do this. Like it gives me a lot of relief to face whatever situation. Like for the events that we organized last Monday, like on the way I was like, okay, so now I got to deal with the event by myself because Finn is not here. Okay, it's gonna be good. Obviously you start stressing up a bit, like questioning, okay, how to prepare a pitch for the introduction, I gotta do this and that wasn't planned. And my reflex has been to call some friends, like Valer and Luca, and I was like talking with them just to be able to express and have them answering to me and realizing, okay, I do have those guys in my life and we can talk about this. What happened here is not that important. It's gonna be nice, it's gonna be nicer or less nice than I imagined. Who cares? It was just like an adventure and experience. They're gonna be other one later. But this connection and connecting deeply with friends like gives a lot of confidence and feeling of safety, whatever happened next. So yeah, this connection of not made for every tribe and connected deeply with your tribe like gives a lot of boost to do anything.
Jason?
Making me think a lot, bro. That's why I'm like so quiet. All right.
What's yours?
I think mine was, I'll confirm, but I think it was the importance of commitment. And not in like the traditional sense of like, oh, like committing things and doing it like all the time. What it meant was, it's very easy for me at least to have like many ideas and a lot of areas I want to do. And I kind of like try to calculate it and see like, oh, is this worth committing my time to? And it was somewhat like this even with the podcast where it was like, okay, like this is a great idea. Like I would semi-start it, and I semi-started it back in the beginning of the year. I'm sure, I don't know if you guys were aware, but like it was like a soft launch. Like I did 2 videos, but then they kind of died out and I hadn't fully committed to it. And then like I was thinking, well, is this going to bring fruit? Is it going to bring interesting conversations, interesting people, interesting guests? And does it make sense for me to dedicate my time to it? The point being like I wanted to see the results before doing to almost help me make the decision. And I think one of the things that I learned was you just have to go for it and you're going to have to commit to it. And the magic of that is that when you make a decision, then things will figure themselves out. It kind of became like that even with the Put It On, which is the coffee shop we do, you know, like the filming at, you know, it was unexpected. I wasn't even thinking about it. But when I said, yeah, I'm not working, I'm going to build a podcast, like all of a sudden like, okay, now I got to find a place. And because I made that commitment and I started telling people, no, I'm doing the podcast. It's not like, oh, I want to do it. Doors started opening that didn't before, including Teresa just being like, yeah, you want to use the space. And I was like, okay. And she even said that before I asked her the question. It's like she knew from the commitment or the way I was saying things, and these doors kind of opened and guests started being, you know, available, like you and I was like Hugo and Finn, Hugo and Finn, and other people, because I said no, I'm actually shooting it, and so people were like, oh, then we can come on because you're actually doing it. So I don't think there's much else to say, but yeah, that being the point, and I think it's also like a learning experience for the future. Like if you want to do it, start it, and then the answers will come, or the barriers will come, and then you can figure out how to go over them, and not be like, well, hypothetically, like I'm trying to imagine things that will go right and things that will go wrong. Like you don't know until you start. So that's my number one at least. Yeah, back to you, Finn.
I think that's a great point. I think that you just learn by doing. You're never going to learn by thinking about doing. Or maybe you will, but you're not going to learn nearly as much. I guess some other life lessons, I definitely learned a lot from my traveling. I think the number one thing that I learned throughout my journey was gratitude for what it is that we have, that I have, and what it is that's truly important in life. Because I think when you go to foreign countries and you see a place, especially like India, where people have so little, like from our perspective, they have so little, but in their brains, in their souls, in their minds, they have everything they need, and they feel fulfilled. And it was so interesting for me to reckon with the fact that if you asked or if you told anyone from the West, or most people from the West, like, oh, this is what your life is going to be like, you're going to have very little material possessions, you might not even have hot water, blah, blah, blah. But you're going to be, I found people that had these conditions, were living with these conditions, but were infinitely happier than most of the people I know back home. And so it was just sort of like how my brain, like sort of, how could my brain understand this? Like, how could this be true? And it sort of recalibrated my ideas and my priorities on what it is that's really important, where by seeing these people that had so little and were so fulfilled, it changed what it is that I think is important, and it made me so much more grateful for what it is that I do have, even if it's something simple like hot water or clean clothes or clean air, clean food, like the ability to go to school, or like, because I think we take so much stuff, so many things for granted here and in general. I think that's also just part of human nature. And it's something that's really stuck with me is just how grateful I am for what it is that I have now, and also how little it is that you need materially to be happy. Like if you have family, if you have friends, if you have connection, and you're working towards something, and you're aware of who you are, and you're learning about yourself, like that's what really is important. That's what provides value to human life. It's not about,
Football jersey.
Well, maybe a little bit it's about football jerseys. But it's not about exterior things as much as I thought that was the case before, and I believed it conceptually. I think seeing it in person really made a lasting impression on me. So yeah.
100%. Definitely. Easier to be happy while liking what you have, instead of running after like
Exactly.
crazy new things all the time.
Yeah.
Last one I would have as life lesson is like, I need, and I guess we are a lot, like need to create stuff, like whether it is a project, whether it is like planting stuff, whether it is cooking, but just the fact of creating and giving life or shape to something that wasn't before is something that makes me feel good. Like I feel active, I feel it gives me ideas, and like there's a very positive dynamic that comes out from creating stuff. It's true for the cookie stuff, it's true for cooking like new recipes, it's true for like starting a new project, launching a new newsletter, whatever. But yeah, creating stuff, like being in this process of collecting ideas and examples and stuff that you have in your mind to give shape to something. And this is like so satisfying and so like moving forward. And I guess this is also something that allows you to create new connection, opening new doors, because you're moving. Get back to the moving again, so for a second. But yeah, creating stuff in whatever way. Like everyone gonna have his own favorite way to create and favorite art or whatever. But yeah, just get out and create stuff.
Wasn't that your question on my podcast at the end?
What?
When was the last time you created something? It was either yours. I think it was yours, but it's possible.
Maybe it was me who launched this question.
Was it?
Maybe.
I think so.
Or
I
maybe it
don't
was the
remember
one
being
that
the
you
first.
asked me.
Yeah,
If it's the one I asked you, then it's Hugo's.
yeah. I think that was
Maybe, yeah.
So either it was completely Hugo's, but I don't know
think
why
it
I
was
thought
my
it was you.
question. That when you asked me at the
When
end.
was
I
the
guess
last
that-
time you created something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was your answer?
I don't remember at all.
I don't remember what exactly your answer.
That was a while ago. That was what.
That's the thing. I don't
Answer.
remember Finn answering that. I remember the guy after Finn answering that.
Okay.
So maybe it was mine. I have no idea. I don't
Good
remember.
question.
That's what I'm saying. I remember like that wasn't the
would be
first
mine?
question you left on the podcast because you left something else.
Yeah, was it creation? Could have been me.
I think it was about happiness. Your question.
Yeah.
So, anyways, but
Could
that was
have
off
been
topic.
me too.
I'll just close this section up. I think like very shortly, the power of like saying no, it was important to me. Like to say it kind of goes along with your ideas of finding new things to do. Is like you have to be able to say no to certain things, and then say yes to certain things. You have to get rid of bad habits before you can build good habits. Like, they're not compatible, and so saying no to certain things, and that came with the choice to like leave my job in a sense. It was like, even afterwards, it was funny. I even approached certain like clubs and was like, hey, like, are you interested in a coach? And then I realized like, what are you doing? So it was funny because I approached clubs and then they offered me like, okay, can you start this week? I was like, no. I was like, this is hilarious.
Excuse me, can I have a job? Yes. Actually, I'm not interested.
Exactly.
It's a toxic coach.
You're just teasing me. You're teasing me.
It's true. And I was like, oh, I can recommend some friends. But yeah, it was interesting. So it was like, okay, say no. And then like, that would give me the space to do the things that I really wanted to do, like the podcast and etc. So yeah. All right. Let's do projections for the upcoming year, 2026. And let's go into personal areas for growth.
I think this sort of goes back to what I was talking about before, but finding a balance between freedom and discipline for myself. I think I spent a lot of time exploring that this year, and I'm still trying to. I think a lot of it for me comes down to going out and my relationship with that, my relationship with alcohol and stuff like that, because I really don't do well with it, but I also enjoy the aspect of going out and letting loose sometimes. And I think I've made a huge step forward by cutting out YouTube and video games, as I was discussing before. And now I'm trying to sort of dial in my relationship with going out, because my friends go out all the time and they're always drinking and smoking, which is cool. Like I respect that and I appreciate that. But I know that it's not really for me in the way that they do it. Like I know I could never live that life. But I also really do like to let loose sometimes. And so I'm trying to figure out how much is too much, when to do something like that, because I do have big projects that I really want to make progress on, and I really want to have sustained periods of focus where I can grow as a person and grow professionally and personally. And so I'm trying to figure out, I think the experiment that we did with microdosing was really helpful for me, because it sort of provided a guideline or a period where I knew exactly what it was that I was doing. It was like, okay, I'm not drinking or doing anything for this specific period
you have
of
a
time.
reason to get out.
Exactly.
Of this
So when
habit.
people ask me like, oh, you don't drink? I'm like, no, I don't. Whereas like now if someone asks me if I drink, I'm like, once a month I do. Like it's just harder to have that discipline. And I think the idea of going a couple months or dedicating a certain period of time to like, oh, this is the time that I'm focused on something has been really helpful for me. And so I'm trying to figure out a way to maximize those periods and figure out when those periods are for me. Like, for example, for me, I have coming up final exams, but then I'm also going to Brazil and I also am going home for Christmas. So it's like, how do I, because I have a lot of work I need to do. I need to study. I have a lot of shit I need to get done. But I also am going to be going to Brazil, and I'm going to be at home with my family. How do I balance seeing all my close friends in New York? I know they're going to want to go crazy. They're always drinking and always going out. They don't want to do any work. They're just working. They have jobs, so they just want to go play poker and go to DJ sets and stuff like that. It's like, how do I balance the fact that I love those guys? Those are my brothers, and I want to spend time with them. And I would love to let loose with them, but I also have final exams coming up, and then I'm going to Brazil. So it's like finding ways to say, oh, this is my time for letting loose, and this is my time to work, and just being consistent in that, and finding the right way to work with that.
I think that time that you allow yourself to let loose then allows you to be focused. You're like,
for sure. But it's like, how much is too much? Like, for example, last night.
But that goes back to the conversation of change and like things like, well, how much are you willing to sacrifice? Like, you know, you did it with YouTube, for example. You could have not done it with YouTube, and you could have done it with the drinking and such places around. Like, how much are you willing to change, I guess? How much is worth changing, and for what purpose?
And that's what I'm trying to figure out, is like, what is the amount that works for me?
Should definitely have some getting loose in New York before going to Brazil, because you're gonna arrive unprepared to Brazil and it's not gonna work. I mean, this is kind of final exam to go to.
That's true, yeah.
You cannot arrive after like 1 month.
The thing is,
soft.
I go to New York and then I go home and have finals, and then I come back here and then I have finals, and then so I'm gonna go straight from like studying 8 hours a day to Brazil, which I think is fine. Like, then I'll really be able to let loose. I think it'll work out.
Hopefully after you pass everything. Yeah. All right, who go take us?
Wow, that was the trickier part of it, because there are like so many areas to work on. I have not yet, because usually what I do is like I take a day, like a synchronized day, and I'm gonna dive again in everything that I've done. I'm gonna read my like notebooks and stuff, and like then actually make a plan for next year, which is like fully open now. But I know I have like specific topic, which whatever I'm gonna do, I want to focus on it. One being like taking care of my body in terms of or practicing sports or like gym or whatever. I would never go to gym, like that's not doable, but make like exercising at least, because I've taken care pretty good about my mental health and spirituality and stuff. But I'm not that much caring about my body, so I guess it would be time to do it a bit better. Being in presence of two specialists of the question. So yeah, this for sure. I wanna get to it. Deep dive into it. There is something about finding the balance between habits and what I know is doing good to me, like waking up, writing, yoga, meditation, having this like automatic mornings, and the fact of what am I gonna do, what am I gonna discover, and finding the balance between like unplanned things and events and what I know is good for me. And I guess it would be also a big like challenge along the year of like finding the balance. For example, at the farm where I was the last 3 months, there's been like several stages. There was one, I was waking up and doing my stuff, so I had an alarm in the morning and like to be able to do my stuff. Then I was going to feed the ducks and the chicken, but I had my mornings. And at the end, I totally quit. Like I had no alarm anymore. I was just like waking up. When I was waking up, didn't matter if the ducks were waiting for an hour to get their food. Like if it was 8 or 9, it was like not my issue, guys. I'm gonna sleep, and then when I'll be ready, I'll be there. And I mean, having an alarm was definitely not a good idea. I'm dreaming of a life without an alarm in the morning, and I could have it, so I switched. But then having no routine in the morning was definitely not a good thing neither, because like, it makes me feel so better, so much ready for the day. So I guess this is kind of a challenge that I'm gonna have whole 2026.
Yeah.
Maybe adding sport into it.
Leave a day for yourself to just do whatever.
Hmm?
Leave a day to explore.
It will be.
And then not fall into the trap of like your vices, which is always the danger
I will
for me.
definitely fall into this trap. Like, fair enough. How could I like fall into this trap and then just in like one switch stop falling into it? I will. But let's try to do it a bit less than I did this year, or at least being learning from when I fell into this trap, and
Yeah.
just trying to feel better at the end of the year. Would be a good way to do it. I would say the more specific is about sports. That would be the new thing, and my challenges next year.
Being
We'll see.
active. Yeah. Mine would be like being proactive in the sense of go searching for things to do. I think right now I'm in a phase where like it's been great, letting go of a lot of things and like making time for myself. Like sometimes waking up without an alarm and like being very relaxed and it's okay, and doing still certain habits, etc. But then I'm kind of in a phase where it's like okay, like you've stabilized here, and now you have to like maybe go try a bit more. Even like with the podcast, like okay, it's great. Like you talk with your friends and people that you know inside your social groups or inside the social groups of the people inside your social group, you know. It's like okay, but there's limitations to that, which is you'll always be limited by your environment or the people around you, and that's all good. But like even for the podcast, I'm going to eventually need people that haven't been interviewed before or aren't my friends, and that takes action. And so like finding ways to be active, you know. And it can be social groups, it can be like hangouts, it can be maybe you have to go out more at night, you know, and do things with friends and be like, okay, good, we stabilized, that's great, you're kind of in this zone and it was uncomfortable at first and now you're comfortable with it. Okay, now we gotta have to make change, and you're going to have to make it happen because nobody else is going to do it for you. And so I think that's what I want to do for 2026 is have that mentality to like, okay, don't just sit around and do the things that you already do. Change. Like you've already done this content. Great. Try a new form. Challenge yourself to do something new. Meet new people. Maybe do some traveling. But that's I think in a different section. But yeah. Yeah. So that was my first. Finn, do you have another one? If you don't, that's also okay. Because we can move on faster because we kind of need to move on.
Let me check. You can't read my handwriting.
Areas for growth. Areas for growth, Finn.
No, I know, but I see growth and there's something written underneath it. And
I'm saying that's an area.
Oh, that's
for
an area
growth.
for growth. I don't know if I'll ever grow. I don't think I'll ever grow. My handwriting is always going to be bad, I think. I think another area for growth for me is in my romantic life. I think it's sort of happening now, but it's something I want to continue to work on, is to just sort of be okay with being alone and not feeling so much pressure to meet someone. And sort of savoring the time that I do have alone and trusting that I will find someone when it's right for me, which I think is sort of obvious advice, but I think having a partner, having someone to have that connection with has always been something that's pretty important to me and something that I searched for. And I think now that I'm not seeing anyone and I'm just completely single, instead of like trying to meet someone right away, not that I'm always going to be open to whatever is out there, but just sort of like valuing that time. Whereas like instead of seeing it as like a lack of like, oh, now I'm alone, it's like, okay, now I'm alone, I can really focus on what it is that I want to do.
Games.
Well, maybe not video games, but like I can get back to
getting
being
wasted
more
with
consistent, like getting what?
Getting wasted with friends.
Yeah, I can have fun with my friends. I can get back into being more consistent with my spiritual side or my professional side or just like reading more or doing more things that are interesting for me. And so I think
Better sleep.
better sleep.
No late night.
Yeah, exactly.
Shenanigans.
Yeah, less shenanigans. So I think that's something that it's already sort of happening, but I would like to take that into the future.
Okay. Lovely.
You go.
Have a lot. Something I would like a bit more specific, like about cooking veggie. And like kind of, I already cook veggie a lot. It's been like a while. I don't buy meat or fish for my place anymore. I eat when I go out, fair enough, but not at home. I like to go a bit next level in terms of both like understanding what I need and what is like a well-balanced plate. And at the same time doing like stuff that are super tasty and I'm super happy to eat. Because this will be something I want to spend time on. Because I mean, food is a source of easy pleasure and also a source of energy. Like basically it's important will impact how you feel, how you sleep, how you do sport, whatever. So yeah, this will be one of my focus next year, getting
But
next level.
You don't eat meat anymore?
I do when I go out.
Okay.
Sometimes, like if I want to go out and I will see like a super nice burger, definitely I'm gonna have it if I want, without blaming myself. But at home, no, it's been like years that I didn't buy any meat or fish to cook home.
Fish included?
Yeah, fish and meat when I go out.
I didn't realize that. Really, because we only hang out when we're eating out, so like
Yeah,
I never
true.
noticed that you like didn't eat meat at all.
Yeah. So yeah, at home, and so yeah, focus on veggie cooking and getting new recipe, knowing new vegetables and stuff, and yeah.
That's sort of another thing that we were talking about before that I think is cool, is like finding little recipes to put in your back pocket that are healthy and
Like those cookies.
delicious, like the cookies, or like for me, like the pesto pasta that I always do, where it's like every week I know I can buy that and have it in my fridge. It takes 20 minutes to cook and it's delicious and healthy, where it's like just finding these little recipes. Or for me, like even buying those plastic things to keep all my fridge and my pantry organized, to where like I have my oatmeal here, like everything's perfectly organized. It makes a big difference for me.
Because you kind of makes it easier to go toward the solution.
Exactly.
So like you kind of use less energy. It's like automatic. You go there and you still have a lot of energy to whatever or the question you have to answer during the day. I mean, like it's clean. You know where to go. You know how it works, and creating those kind of habits, healthy habits. Yeah, kind of dope. So I want more.
And there's so much creativity to do with like cooking. There's so many things you can do. Like I would really love to one day get into like making my own stocks, or like, there's so like really like levels to this where you can make your own stock, like, or buying, like going to the farmer's market and really getting high quality ingredients and making bases for sauces that you always have in the fridge. Like there's really levels to cooking that you can achieve if you really focus and dedicate time to learn, and it pays off because you get delicious and healthy food in your house. So it's another, I guess I can add that as a little extra, was like continuing to explore,
especially if you have time and you're not like, I'm hungry and I need to eat and I need to do it by this time, and then you can explore. You're like, oh, it's okay. Like,
and the thing is, like when you invest, it's interesting because I don't think you end up spending that much more time. It's more just you just have to invest the time earlier. Like if you're going to the farmer's market every week, you can do your shopping for the week so that you don't have to get stuff in advance. Or like if you're making a sauce base, well then you're gonna have it later in the week and you can cook something instantly. So I think in the end you're not actually spending that much more time. Okay, obviously it's more than if you're just like going to McDonald's, but it's worth the investment, and it's not that much time once you have build the tools and build the foundations for it.
Yeah, love cooking for that creativity spark.
Yeah.
Do you have more?
Yeah, I had a couple more. One was like being consistent with the habits, like positive habits. Like I already know, well, obviously like I could build more, but there's a certain number of habits like I already know work, and sometimes it's annoying because like I know that they work and I don't do them, and I look back and like, man, if I just done that habit just for his morning routine, like sometimes I forget. Sometimes I wake up later without the alarm and I don't do it. And later in the day, I'm like, dude, like you knew that if you did that routine, your day would have gone differently than it did now. It's not to say that your day is bad. It's just like you knew you already discovered for yourself a habit at work. Why don't you just do it? Or sleeping is the same thing. Like sometimes I just don't do the habit. It's like, bro, you knew you wanted to sleep good. You knew you needed it for the next day, and yet you like just didn't do it. And maybe that's a consistency problem, and that's a me problem. But it's like, man, just be more consistent with that.
I think that's a global problem.
Yeah, maybe I'm just
Kind
very
of
big
every human out there.
generalist.
I think we all saw my consistency this
This
morning.
morning.
So
You did stay true to your routine. You woke up, you showered. You
Yeah,
didn't,
yeah.
You didn't get the sun, but you're getting it now.
yeah, it's true.
All right. Do you guys have more or
I think I'm good.
Hugo?
Good too. That was the main.
I'm starting
Yeah.
to slow down a little bit.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Then let's finish this up with objectives for the next year. Also, because time, you know. Objectives for next year and new projects that we want to get into.
There is
Hugo's
one
like so
project I know
sneaky
about.
with that laugh.
I've got
bro.
there's so many projects.
Principal
Um,
ones.
The
Big ones.
principal one for
Big
me
boys.
is like finishing finals, like school,
Mm.
and just getting that over with. It's not really. It's like my objective. It's not a very creative endeavor, but it's something that I need to get done, and that's important to me. And then continuing with me and Hugo's project of Spark, which has been a very interesting and fun experience of like just how difficult it is to create something from scratch.
Yeah.
And like designing Instagram posters and like learning this different stuff.
Have to post.
Yeah. And like pushing yourself to like do these things that you don't necessarily want to do, but you have to do. And also working with someone else and like learning how to work with someone else and being honest and growing that relationship has been really valuable to me and something I want to keep going. I want to get back to writing my newsletter and doing more creative writing. I just started like this week writing again for the first time in months. And I've sort of changed my perspective on that. I think before I was writing for others in that I was writing to create value for other people. And I've sort of changed my perspective in that now I'm just going to write what it is that I find interesting and just be completely honest with the reader about what it is that's going on in my life so that I can like fully express myself and create something that's art instead of something that's like content. And so that's been really inspiring recently. So I want to continue going with that. I'm traveling to Brazil, so that's a big thing. And then once I get back from Brazil, I really want to start my own business or get some sort of internship or job to go along with school so I can get some professional experience in my area, which is sport and training and health. I already sort of started an entrepreneurial journey by like putting myself out there and going to like different, I had this idea to train people at hotels, at boutique hotels. And I went to different hotels and I offered my services and things didn't really work out, but I also learned a lot from that experience. And it's also, I wasn't fully committed. Like I was doing that, but then I had to go home to New York for family reasons. I had school, like school got super intense. I had the Spark. So I had so many different priorities. And I think now that I know exactly what it is that I want to do and I've already put in some effort and done a tiny experiment to see what it was like, I have very clear projects. And so I want to really push myself to grow and develop all of those projects. Because I know what it is that's important to me now and how it is that I can go about doing it. So I'd say those are the three main things is developing a writing practice and continuing with my newsletter, Spark, and then also my own professional career along with school,
Mm.
which is always a constant.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I would say that's my main goals and objectives.
Big year.
Yeah, a lot of stuff, so I'm gonna have
Yeah.
to stay focused.
Nice.
Hugo?
Objective. Obviously, Spark,
Mhm.
which is like one of the things that I want to give time to, because like I love the journey, I love what we do, which is basically creating evenings where we take the time to go a bit more deeply in some topics,
Mm-hmm.
like joy, love, sadness, consciousness, whatever. And I like to create it and offering this place to people, but I like to participate also in those moments and meet new people and stuff. So this is definitely one objective. To keep writing. I do have my newsletter. I'm now also dealing with the newsletter of the Quinta, where I spent 3 months in English. So like keep working on my English and keep writing about what's going on there.
Mm-hmm.
I would say those are two very clear objectives. And then there is still this like vibe of exploration and planting seeds and learning more about life in community outside cities and learning more about like planting stuff and agriculture. Still have those curiosities, and I guess 2026 is gonna be like the like what follows up 2025. Still like discovering, kind of gardening, that's the word I use. Like I'm planting stuff, preparing, trying to understand how it works, how it reacts.
Mm-hmm.
And next months are going to be about seeing like how does it go, what is growing or not, what do I like, what do I feel connected with, where do I want to go, what do I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So trying to keep exploring, gardening, and one objective is also like to kind of commit to some project and event, and having a bit less freedom than what I had this year, because it was a lot of freedom, which was nice, which is nice still. I still have a lot. But I kind of feel the need to reconnect and rebound to some like greater objective that do not imply only myself, but also other humans and a team, and kind of feel the call to recommit myself. So this is gonna be next year. I don't know exactly what shape it's gonna take. Still a lot to discover.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Maybe a book. I don't want to talk and then disappear, but there is an objective about writing a book around happiness and philosophical tools.
Mm.
But see you next year. Talk about this book.
What's Spark?
Spark?
Because like I was supposed to go to the event, like, but I don't really know what you guys wanted to do with it. So I'm curious, like generally, what is Spark and what direction you want to take it, and maybe even the listeners can like get to know a little bit more about the idea. So I'm generally asking, what is Spark?
Let's say it, both of us, so we see how we present it.
Yeah, I think it's something that has been changing as we were working on it.
Okay.
I think now we've sort of come to a conclusion, or like a more firm definition, that the goal of Spark is to provide a space where you can meet new people and have deep discussions. And that's really the nuts and bolts of what it is that we do. I think before we had loftier objectives to have a more spiritual and mindful aspect, which is still there, but it's really what we do is we provide a space to meet new people and have deep discussions. So, because that's something that I think everyone is looking for in a certain way. Maybe not everyone is looking for it, but it's something that I think we both value, and there's a lot of people that value that. And so it's really a way to have a community, to try and build a community around those things. I don't know if that's...
Yeah, I agree. There is clearly something also about like opening a time like where it is the topic. Like, because when you go out for a drink with friends, maybe you're not gonna deep dive into some like crazy thought that you have, or world event that happened or whatever. And there is like creating this safe space to do so, but also like kind of sacralizing 2-3 hours of a day just for this, and be able, okay, I'm going to this event because I'm gonna share about this and listen to people talking about this, and I guess just
I think
preferring this space.
I completely agree, and I think it's something that's, at least for me, I find missing sometimes. Whereas like, exactly like you're saying, when you go out to have a drink with friends, you're usually talking about random stuff. Sometimes you'll have a deep discussion, but it's not often that you're sitting down for 2 hours to discuss something very deeply that's very important to you. And I think Spark is a place where you know that's going to happen every time. And I think that provides a certain level of comfort to know that like, oh, every month I have this space that I can go where I know I'm going to meet cool people and I can really go deep into something that's interesting to me. So yeah, that's what it is.
Okay. Cool. Thanks for sharing. Anything else you want to add, or should I wrap it up?
I agree with Finn.
Okay.
100%.
Yeah, I want to hear your objectives now.
Well, I think number one, and funny enough, it's a graduate university. I just want to get it done. Like, it's just one subject left. I don't know why I left it. So just like lock in, and if it takes a slice of my time, then just do it and get it done, so that I never look back and be like, well, it was right there and I didn't do it. I don't think it's even so much about the degree. I don't really care about the degree necessarily, or the paper, or it's just like, if you started it, like, finish it. And since you're so close, it's not like you're lacking 2 years or something. Like, dude, you should have finished it. Just do it. So annoyingly, that's number one objective. Number two was find some sort of passive source of income that I can like work on or work with if that's necessary, and not hopefully have it be a full-time thing if that's related to building some kind of business to make some sort of like income to also like build the life that I want, and then like be able to continue learning and being curious on the side and go through life and meeting people and all the other things that life has to offer, but not worried about like oh, I have to go back to a job because I'm going to run out of income or finances, and to give myself that kind of peace. So if I can figure that out, if in 2026, if it's related to a business, perfect. If it's not, I'm also open to that possibility of it being something else. That would be a big one for me next year. And I think continuing the podcast and being very consistent with it and the newsletter. So I want to do this next year at the same time in December, and have the same sort of conversation with people and be like, well, look, we did, Finn did all of the things that he wanted to do, or what happened, in his life that was different, which was kind of the point of the wish, like, surprise thing. I don't think we'll get into that, but like, what are the unexpected things that could happen,
He stayed in Brazil.
Yeah. And then 1 year
set up in Rio.
married to a Brazilian girl in Rio.
Could happen.
So yeah, and Hugo, and seeing like what his transformation's been, and that would be interesting. So the podcast and the newsletter. And I think a big one is learning to travel, even if that means solo traveling. Like, I've always like felt weird about doing solo traveling. Like, it feels lonely, it feels weird. It's like, oh, nobody wants to go with you, or you're kind of doing this alone. It feels awkward going to a restaurant alone, or whatever.
It's
And like,
amazing.
It's the best.
It's amazing.
It's the best.
and I felt like recently maybe it's not so bad.
It's the best. It's better than I mean, traveling with friends is amazing, but solo traveling
Wow.
is something that's it's a unique experience.
Okay.
I think I learned more about myself solo traveling for a month in India than I did in a year living life. Like
So nice.
just the freedom, like to be at the airport and arrive somewhere and be like, it's just me, I'm gonna do whatever the fuck I want,
Yeah.
is an amazing feeling, and you learn a lot.
Okay.
Even
Right.
without going like super far away. Like,
Yeah.
we're here in Portugal. You take the train 2 hours, like in Coimbra or Figueira da
Might do
Foz, or
Porto.
in the mountains or Porto, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, you can go for a weekend. I remember like last year, I didn't do it this year, but I was already like moving a lot. Like, there was a weekend during summer. I just like took the train. I went to Ericeira and spent the weekend there by myself. Like, if I was a tourist, but I wasn't a tourist. And this was like, it felt so good. Being out there, you go to the restaurant, then you grab a coffee, you sit there, you read a book, but then there is a bit too much wind, so you stand up and go to the coffee next door because it's a bit more calm. Like,
Yeah.
do it. Even like small one, you start
Yeah.
with a weekend out there somewhere in Portugal.
Yeah, I might do Porto, like just
And,
a
like,
3 day. thing.
Amazing.
Okay.
I recommend. And you go to the hostel, so like if you don't want to be alone, you won't be alone. You will meet other people traveling, passing by, whatever.
Traveling is the best
Do you
thing
recommend
in life.
hostels or just solo it?
Hostels.
Because I was thinking solo it. Like I could wake up and do my own thing in my own peace and like write and read and.
For sure, but you can
I
go
get
somewhere.
bothered
You
by
can go
people.
someone to. For sure, I have the same thing. I get bothered by people, but you can always go somewhere to be alone.
Okay.
But I think being in hostels provides a pretty unique opportunity to meet new people.
Depends what your objective is. Is it to have your like perfect condition to have your routine, or is it to like meeting with people and unexpected?
You can also
Yes.
do other. You can
I don't
do-
mind meeting people. Sorry, what were you gonna say? I don't know.
Well, I was just gonna say that you can do. It's not one or the other. You can do one day in a hostel, and or like you start in a hostel, and then if you feel the need to be by yourself, then you go to your own place. Or you can do the opposite. You have your own place, and if you feel the need to meet people, then you go to the hostel.
I'm gonna be very honest, because in hostels you share like a room with somebody, right?
You usually share a room with a bunch of people.
Exactly, and that for me is like a big no because I need to sleep.
That's
Like
why
I will be
that's why you get
depressed
the-
if I don't sleep. Like at whatever time. Like if I'm tired at 9:30 and like because of traveling or whatever, I went to the beach or whatever. Like, I need to know I can get home and sleep, and not have like people wake me up, and then I can wake up and like move around freely and not have to like try to creak around. Because I'm staying at a hostel, I know like it's bunk bed, bunk bed, bunk bed, bunk bed.
Yeah.
It's like. I would do it maybe for the experience just to know what it's like again.
It's a learning experience. Like
But
I always
I
thought,
need
I
my
thought the same
sleep.
thing. I thought the same thing. I've always been that way as well. And then I realized, like, okay, I have my headphones, I have my thing, I put my AirPods in, I have a podcast, and maybe it's not perfect, and things are gonna be chaotic. But I think that's sort of practice for real life, and can be fun experience as well.
Yeah. Okay. Fair.
Yeah.
Well, now I got to do it for sure. It's good encouragement.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's a perfect way to wrap it up. So wanted to thank you guys last time for just coming on and having the patience and going through the topics. And it's always fun talking with you. So yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks for
It was
having
a
us.
pleasure.
It was a great way to spend my Monday morning, cozy in
Yeah.
my living room. So.
Yeah. Thanks for the house
Yeah.
and the space.
Yeah.
All right. Well, see you guys next time.